10 o'clock on your Wednesday morning. Welcome in. It is the Gamecock Club Hour presented by Krantz Heating and Cooling. Tyler Ed, Wes Mitchell, and today's special guest, Rodi from Gamecock Softball, hanging out with us here on this Wednesday. Ari, first of all, appreciate you taking your time for us this morning. Is this your first ever time doing anything radio related?
Yes, I've done a podcast, but that's about it.
Pretty similar, I'd say. This is just live. That's the only difference. And you're on camera, so wave to the people on our Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass and powered by Integrated Media, so no pressure.
Wow, just start with that, Tyler. All right, thanks for being here. And I know you've done some interviews before about why you chose South Carolina, but for people maybe who missed those or people who are just tuning in, why the Gamecocks? Why did you kind of want to follow Coach Chastain? We've had Coach Chastain here in studio as well. She sat right there and talked to us about her program, obviously trying to build something special here. So you've been on the inside of a program that she's built. So why South Carolina? Why did you want to be here with her?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, South Carolina in the best comp in the SEC. It's a dream come true for any softball player to play at the best level. And I think coming along with Coach Ash just made the decision a lot easier. She had a lot of belief already instilled within me coming out of high school, just recruiting me and being able to put my trust in her and have her develop me to the person and the player I am today. It was a no-brainer to join her in this journey in South Carolina.
Yeah, you mentioned the SEC. I mean, the SEC is pretty strong in almost every sport, but you look at softball and it's like the top 25. It's like every single school in the SEC, for the most part, is in the top 25 pretty consistently. Then, guess what? Let's add Texas and Oklahoma into the mix as well. What do you think it's going to be like, or how excited are you to compete, knowing every single time y'all have a conference series that, hey, it's going to be a test. It's going to be something that tests you as an individual and as a team as well. I mean, you're playing in the best conference in America, and it's really not even close.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Coach Ash, she really loves to challenge us. So in Charlotte, every time we weren't playing a conference game, we were getting challenged by a top 25 team. So being able to take that energy into every single game we play now, it's just really exciting because I think the ceiling's really high for us as a team this year.
And when you played those tougher non-conference opponents when you were at Charlotte, what was the difference between you guys and them? What made them an elite team at the NCAA level, why they were ranked and all that kind of stuff? What did you notice was the difference between you and them?
There really wasn't any. I'm going to be completely honest. I mean, we all play the same game. We play by the same rules. The only thing that's different is the mindset of each team going into each game.
I think coming to a place like South Carolina, I'm curious what you've thought of the facilities and the resources so far. I think you maybe took a visit before you committed just to kind of check everything out and see what it was all about. Pretty new softball stadium over there. That thing is really, really nice. I remember when they built it. And what has that part of the sort of getting settled in aspect of this been like for you, just sort of seeing what South Carolina has to offer?
Yeah, I mean, they love to take care of their athletes here. I mean, we meet with an academic advisor every week. We have study hall. So academically, they take care of us. And then on the athletic side, I mean, our facility is just beautiful. Being at practice every day and just looking up into the stands and imagining the stadium just filled with so many fans for that first game is going to be really exciting. And, I mean, we have nutritionists and everything. So it's been a real treat to enjoy everything.
So you guys got to play at South Carolina last year back in February. Being on the other side of things, what was that atmosphere and environment like for you as an opponent, and what's that going to be like actually playing for the team now?
Yeah, so, I mean, the way that the stadium's built, it's almost like the fans are looking down on top of you while you're playing. So I remember being on deck for my first at-bat in that first inning, and I was just looking up in the stands, and I was like, okay, there's a lot of people here, and they're right on top of us, and they're yelling at us. So hopefully that the fans it'll be better that the fans are on our side this time.
For sure. So you've had quite the career at Charlotte already. I was looking at some of your numbers earlier. 22 home runs last year, 353 batting average, 55 RBI. Have you always hit with power like that? Was that something that in high school you just already a power hitter? Did it sort of come along as you got to college? Is it just come natural, or have you had to work towards that aspect? Can you kind of talk to us maybe just about the intricacies of your game a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I've always been one of the bigger, stronger kids, so power has always been part of my game. The one thing that we really wanted to evolve when I got to college was the consistency of it. So being more okay with, having the occasional base hit and just really racking up the on-base percentage as well as the home runs.
Do you feel like that part of your game has come along?
Yeah, compared to my freshman year to last year, that was the biggest difference.
Is that sort of, is that pitch selection? Is that knowing situation like, hey, I got 2 strikes, it's okay to hit an opposite field single? Or I guess, are there some specifics that have maybe led to that?
Yeah, I think mechanically, Coach Katie Browder, she's made a huge impact in my game as a hitter and in the field. But just going and having talks with her about different approaches and how we're going to attack different pitches, and it's okay to take walks. Like, everyone on the team has your back. So that's a big thing, is like putting my trust in my teammates when I'm at the plate, that I don't have to get the job done myself. Like, we're going to win this as a team.
So let's rewind the clock back a little bit here. Where did the softball journey really begin for you?
It started when I was 4 years old. I have an older sister who grew up playing softball, so I was dragged to the softball field, and I saw her playing, and I was like, Mom, I want to do this. And it started when I was 4, and they put me in a mini T-ball league, but it quickly evolved to just coach pitch, and that's where the journey started.
Now, at what point in your career did you realize, I'm pretty good at this, might have the chance to play at the next level?
It was pretty young. I mean, my sister is six and a half years older than me, so she was going through her college recruitment process while I was pretty young in life. So I saw her going through it, and I was like, I want to do this one day. So it started pretty young, like probably like 8, 9 years old. And
your sister, according to this, she played at Nichols College, so she played at the next level as well?
Yes.
And is your family listening? Did you tell them you were going to be on, or did you keep it secret that you're coming on?
I gave them a heads up. I don't know if they're going to be able to listen, though.
Well, the good thing is they can always go back and watch the live stream, so if they want to see it later, they can always go back and watch.
Okay, I'll let them know.
Yeah, so how much did you obviously have talked about your sister, but how much did just kind of your family in general and their support and just kind of being there for you, but also, watching your sister play? And I always think, like, when a younger athlete comes up, they kind of get challenged a little bit by seeing what that older athlete has done in their life in a sport. So how much did that maybe play into your success, you think?
Oh, it plays a big success. I mean, I come from a very competitive family. I have an older brother as well, and we all grew up playing ice hockey, which is a fun fact. So my first sport was hockey. I was put in skates when I was 3 years old. And so, like, my brother and my sister, they taught me how to ice skate and everything. And then just my sister was almost like a coach figure and a sister figure to me when it came to softball. Like, she would be the one to take me to the field and be there videoing all my at-bats and, like, coming by the dugout and being like, you got it, like, you're fine, and telling me everything I need to. And growing up, now that I'm in college, she's just one of my biggest fans for me, and my entire family is. I know I'm from Rhode Island, so they're quite a far away, but they make it to every home game they absolutely can. I think they've missed maybe one home series in my last 2 years. So, I mean, they're my biggest fans. I talk to them all the time, and I'm just very grateful that I grew up in a competitive household that pushed me to where I am today.
You went ahead and busted out the fun fact. I was gonna pop that on you later, but 3-time state champion in hockey, is that right?
That's correct.
How much does the skill involved in hockey, if at all, translate to softball? I feel like we've had a lot of dual sport athletes in here, and I've always thought it's very helpful. Like, too many athletes specialize too early, I feel like. Like, most people that go play in the NFL or professional, you go back, they were playing 2 or 3 sports in high school and excelling. Is there any translation between ice hockey and softball?
Yeah, I would say it's more mentally.
Yeah.
Because you have to be somewhat gritty and, like, tough to play hockey. So I like to say that I bring those qualities into when I'm playing softball. But physically, I mean, it just gave my body a reset for the winter season. I was allowed myself to relax the muscles that I strenuated a lot during softball. So kept me fresh there. And then just endurance-wise, a lot of skating keeps keeps you in shape.
Now, what position were you playing in hockey?
Defense.
Okay.
The one who skates backwards.
Checking people into the boards?
So you can't actually check in girls hockey.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
You just have to guard without check. Like how?
you can, there's still like body contact, but you just can't like full on shoulder through someone. And yeah, you can't do that.
Now, was there any interest for you playing hockey at the next level?
Not really. I feel like I always knew it was softball. I had the opportunity to, but I knew softball. If I wanted to play at the highest level, softball was going to have to be a priority.
How did it come about that you ended up at Charlotte? I guess, can you take us back through your recruiting process initially out of high school? How early did you commit? Were there some other schools heavily involved? How did it sort of play out for you?
Yeah, so my story is quite interesting because my recruiting year was during COVID. So the summer before September 1st, which is when college coaches can call you, our entire schedule got flipped around. And we were playing at all these tournaments with no college coaches there, with live streamed cameras. So, and it tells you, the app that we use, it would tell you what coaches were watching. So we would all look back and look at what schools were watching. Wow. And I was looking through it and I saw UNC Charlotte. And I'm going to be honest, I had no idea about UNC Charlotte before any of this. And after they were watching a couple of games, our team recruiting coordinator, he sent me a text saying, Charlotte sent you this questionnaire to fill out and to send back to them. So I filled that out and did some more research on the school and Coach Ash and the entire coaching staff, and started to spark my interest a little bit more, did some more research. And then September 1st came and they were the first phone call I had at, I think it was like 12:07 a.m. And just the conversations I had with Coach Ash and the entire coaching staff, I was instantly drawn to them, and they were always number one on my list. And I went on a visit, but it was not a real visit. I went down with my mom and we just looked at the campus by ourselves, and I called Coach Ash while I was on campus and I said, I want to be a 49er. I want to play for you. Like, this just means the world to me. So it was always Charlotte. Like, before I knew it, it wasn't, but once I found out what Charlotte was, it was always Charlotte.
And it sounds like they made you feel wanted within that program more and earlier than anyone else. What was Coach's sort of recruiting pitch to you? Like, kind of take us behind the scenes a little bit. Do you remember what she was most focused on?
Yeah, I mean, she's big on developing you as an athlete, but she's also going to create you into the person you need to be to go into the next stage of life. So it was a big thing for me to know that I'm going to grow on the softball field, but also grow in the classroom and with my family and with my friendships and relationships. So she just makes sure that you're going to be the complete package as a person and not just an athlete when you're going to leave her program.
Here, our conversation with Ari Rodi from Gamecock Softball as the Gamecock Club Hour presented by Krantz Heating and Cooling rolls on. Reminder, though, it is September, and that is Hunger Action Month. The Game and Hardee's are teaming up for the Hardee's Roundup. Just go to your participating Hardee's and round up your bill to the nearest dollar amount. All donations go to the Harvest Hope Food Bank for students. Also, you can come out tomorrow and round up and say hello to Bill Gunner from the early games. He'll be out at the Hardee's location at 100 Creech Road in Blythewood tomorrow from 3 until 6 p.m. Again, 100 Creech Road in Blythewood from 3 until 6 p.m. for the Hardee's Roundup campaign. It is the Gamecock Club Hour presented by Krantz Heating and Cooling on your Wednesday here on the Game. Welcome back into the Gamecock Club Hour presented by Krantz Heating and Cooling. Tyler Head, Wes Mitchell, Rodi from Gamecock Softball hanging out with us here on this Wednesday. We mentioned a little bit in the last segment. You're from Rhode Island. I know about the softball scene, having lived in the South my whole life. What's it like in the Northeast? Is it the same kind of deal? Is it more of a niche kind of thing? Like, well, what's the softball scene up there like?
I mean, it's not very popular at all. My travel ball organization, we were a group of girls from New England, from Connecticut, Massachusetts, even New York, but we would have to leave every weekend and go travel across the country. So every weekend I was either in Georgia, even New Jersey, Colorado, California. So there was not a week I was at home.
Wow, that is a lot of traveling.
And so is a lot of that kind of just weather based as well? Like I know there are certain times of the year where, like we growing up playing high school ball, we would have teams come down for tournaments and stuff from like Pennsylvania, and it would just be, hey, it's already 85 degrees here in South Carolina, but they have snow on the ground in the Northeast. So I imagine it's hard to like build, and we see this in college as well. It's hard to build a successful softball or baseball program up there just because of the weather.
Yeah, I mean, that plays a huge part. I mean, you come down south or even go out west, these teams are being able to get on the field every day. We don't have that luxury. We're stuck inside in some hitting facility, or luckily, when I was growing up, there were a couple indoor turf facilities where we could do a whole field. But, I mean, I remember playing high school ball. We'd start tryouts in March, and our first, 6 games would either get rained or snowed out because the weather was just awful and it was freezing. So weather does play a big part.
There's nothing worse than catching a ball off the wrong part of the bat when it's cold outside and you just get the stingers through pretty much your entire body.
Yeah, that would be practice every day up there in the fall.
Sounds kind of miserable, honestly. You have to love it, I feel like, you have to love the sport to be out there in that, pushing it, I feel like.
Definitely.
So I'm curious, do analytics play a big role in softball at this point? Like, is that something, baseball, it's everywhere now. In MLB, it's huge. It's kind of trickled down along the way. How much does technology or analytics play into y'all's approach, or is it more just about mechanics and technique and stuff like that?
No, we're really big on analytics. Our coaching staff, we're going to use any resource that they can get their hands on. So we use a lot of it, analytics for scouting. We have a lot of databases that we use for our own metrics. So that's been a part, is learning the knowledge around analytics and how to use that to grow yourself as a player.
Is that something that you feel like is embraced by every program? I know Coach Chastain's a younger coach, and younger coaches tend to lean on analytics. Are there still some coaches out there that are kind of against it, we feel like, in college softball?
Yeah, there's a couple. But, I mean, I just think you look at the success, and the analytics shows that the successful things you need to work on and all that stuff. That makes sense.
For sure. And so we like to give fans listening a little bit of idea of a day in the life for, in this case, the South Carolina softball players. So you were telling me off air, you are kind of doing individual skill work right now. Teamwork will be starting soon. What does a day in the life for you right now that class has started as well? Are we up early at the facility, or do you take care of class first? Kind of how does it work in terms of your schedule?
Yeah, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I have class at 8:30 a.m. to 9:20. And then we don't have anything until lift at 1:15. And then we do small group individual sessions right after lift that can go anywhere until I think it's 5:30. We're just broken up into different time frames. And then Tuesday, Thursday, we lift at 8 a.m. And then we have practice right after. And then since I'm a transfer, I have study hall from 4 to 5:30 every Tuesday and Thursday nights.
So looking at your profile from Charlotte, it said you were majoring in pre-kinesiology. You're still pursuing that here as well?
Not currently. My major got a little bit messed up, so I'm currently in services management, but I do plan to go back to exercise science.
And what would you like to eventually do with that?
Either a strength and conditioning coach or an athletic trainer.
That's cool. Stay in the athletic side of things.
Yes.
Coaching potentially, I guess.
Yeah, just something to stay in sports. I'm currently taking a couple coaching classes, so it's been really interesting.
So by the way, let's not get too far before we mention the Gamecock Club is sponsoring like this interview, and you've come into college athletics in a time where things are completely different than they were, 5 or 10 years ago. What has that been like for you so far to sort of have that NIL support and have the Gamecock Club support? And have you been able to do some events yet in terms of like autographs, or is that something y'all be doing maybe in the future?
I have an autograph. We're doing autographs at the Akron game, I believe, softball is. But I really wasn't educated on NIL before I stepped on campus here at Columbia. Just wasn't really a big thing at Charlotte. It was more of like, okay, you got this deal on your own. Like, just make sure you disclose it with compliance. Where here, I've been meeting with the head of NIL. Like, he's been teaching me how to do stuff, like how to get deals, how to market yourself and everything. So the first couple weeks have been a lot of learning, like the rules and stipulations and everything. So, but it's really beneficial as an athlete. I mean, our schedules are so hectic that we really don't have time for a job. So the NIL has been really beneficial in that aspect where last year at Charlotte, I would be giving lessons on my only off day. I'd be at the facility from like 4 to 9. So this just alleviates my schedule a little bit more, and I'm really thankful for it, and that the game has evolved, like all sports has evolved to this point.
How helpful do you think those resources also are? I think this is lost a little bit in the NIL side of things. A lot of those skills are things you'll be able to maybe take into like the business world later on. Like, let's say you become an athletic trainer, or maybe you're involved in running your own sort of private company where you're doing training and stuff like that. There's a lot of overlap, I feel like, in the business skills you're going to learn on the NIL side with like marketing and stuff like that. The tax part of it that I imagine will carry over into your life after athletics.
Yeah, there's so many things. I know the athletic department as a whole is really good at teaching athletes how to manage their money, how to do taxes, how to present yourself, create your own brand, how to market and everything. So going to those workshops has been really helpful because I'm going to be honest, I did not know how to do my taxes before any of this stuff came out. And I heard that you'd have to file taxes. I'm like, Mom, I don't know how to do this. But yeah, the resources is impeccable because this is stuff that I'm going to need for the rest of my life.
Now, at Charlotte, maybe it wasn't the case for softball necessarily. Was there much of an NIL presence there in general for like football and basketball and stuff like that, or it just wasn't something that was as prevalent there?
I know it was more prevalent within football and basketball, but the smaller sports, not so much.
Gotcha. We'll continue on with the Gamecock Club Hour presented by Krantz Heating and Cooling with Rodi from Gamecock Softball on your Wednesday here on the game. Welcome back in. It is the Gamecock Club Hour presented by Krantz Heating and Cooling. Tyler West, Ari Rodi from Gamecock Softball hanging out with us. We're just talking that last break there. You are fully embracing being a college football fan now that you're here at Carolina. You went to the game the other day. You're hyped for this weekend. Like, you are fully invested, it sounds like.
Yes, the environment is just so much fun to be around. Just so many people that have the same love for your school, and being able to display that through athletics is so much fun.
Ari, I would like to congratulate you on being a Southerner.
Thank you.
Like,
it means a lot.
I need to get you a Southern card because
Like,
you've checked all the boxes.
Hopefully your family is listening, and I'm sure she loves Rhode Island and all that, but we've checked off Sweet Tea.
Yep.
We've checked off college. She's sitting here on the break talking about, I just woke up and I smelled it in the air and I turned game day on. Like, you're smiling more right now thinking about college football than you have the entire time you've been here. So you caught the college football bug, I feel like.
I have. Like, I grew up watching college football, but it's so different when you're actually in the environment. Like I know my parents, like, I was texting the entire time I was at that first game, and my dad was like, enjoy the moment. Like, these are the moments you're going to remember. And it was just really awesome to finally, put yourself in those shoes when you used to sit there and watch it on TV as a kid, and now you're finally there in person.
And that was your first SEC football game in person, you said. What was that experience like? Just, I'm guessing you were in the student section, which is a whole nother animal than even the rest of the stadium, and just sort of hearing. I mean, it's. I feel like you don't realize how freaking loud it is until you're there, and just the atmosphere. It'll be on another level this week. But how was that experience? Kind of just taking it all in.
It was so much fun. I mean, we ended up being in the middle of the student section, like closer to the top, so we got to see everything. But I walked up to my seat, and I just saw the rally towel there, and I was like, I'm ready to sandstorm. Let's go right now. But then my teammates were all there teaching me, like, when to do the towel and everything and what chant to do. So I feel like this week will be a little bit better because now I got the routine down of what I need to do.
Got your technique down?
Yeah.
Now, growing up, did you go to, like, any professional football games or anything like that? Did you have, like, an idea of what to expect going in?
Not really. I went to my first Patriots game my freshman year of college. But besides that, I've only grew up going to professional hockey games.
Now, they get pretty rowdy at hockey games, so
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of a fair balance.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I mean, I've grown up going to a lot of Bruins games because it's just 45 minutes away from my house, and they'd play against some teams, and the environment would be a little crazy.
Now, have you picked out a favorite player yet at Carolina to watch, or we're still maybe working on that aspect?
Still working on that. Yeah, not that experience. I have to grow my knowledge and
Okay, I respect
my favorite players.
Okay, so you were also telling us y'all are practicing field goal kicking a little bit. So, and you mentioned Pat McAfee. Do you watch his show at all?
Yes, I do. When there's nothing on TV in the morning, ESPN's the first thing that I put on. But we all saw that College Game Day was coming to Columbia, and our first instinct was we need to practice kicking. Like, I want to be on the field goal challenge. And
What, $25,000?
At least.
Yeah.
Like, it's quite a bit of money. And so we were joking about it because we lift at football. And so we were warming up Monday. And after we do our sprint work, because we're inside the indoor facility, we found a stray football just in there. And our
Stray
strength
football.
coach grabs it. And he's like, everyone get in the line. We're practicing our kicks. And granted, we were only from the 5-yard line. We only had 2 girls make it, but some of the girls on our team have a boot, so maybe they might be, if they're needed, the softball team's always here.
I respect that. That's a good team and university camaraderie there, being willing to go out there and kick some field goals. Hopefully one of y'all gets picked for the contest. I don't know how they pick
I have no
the person
clue.
for that. That's a lot of pressure.
Oh, man. All
y'all
those people
imagine?
around you.
Like that may be harder than kicking in a game. You think what do you think is more pressure? Kicking on College Game Day, knowing that you're not a kicker, versus bases loaded, 2 outs in the last inning, and you're down by 3.
Kicking all day.
Do you get nervous at the plate at all? Do you get the butterflies, or you're kind of just locked in?
I get butterflies before the game, but when it comes to my at-bat, I really focus on my breathing. So I try to go into the plate with a steady heart rate and a clear mind and clear eyes, just focusing on doing one job, and that's just hitting a strike. That's honestly my approach when I'm at the plate. I try to keep it as simple as possible because sometimes I get a little stressed out with the more information I get. So my famous saying is keep it simple, stupid, and that's what I like to say to myself.
Now, with your kick, were you doing a 3-step drop or are you doing straight on?
Oh, we were doing the full-on 3-step drop.
That's the way to do it.
I'm loving this. I'm loving this. So do you think the Gamecocks are winning Saturday? You think LSU is going down this week?
I think LSU is going down. It's going to be a magical weekend here in Columbia, and I think everyone has just so much pride in the football team right now, and I think having that belief from the students and all the fans around Columbia is going to instill it into our players, and I think we're going to come with the win.
Now, like around athletics as a whole, because again, you guys are intermingling around each other a lot. Like, what is it like for this past week specifically to have a lot of positive energy around the football team just kind of spreading throughout athletics?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. I'm in a couple of other student athlete organizations, so everyone's just been really happy and excited this weekend. Like, you can see it in the Student Academic Center and in the dining hall. But everyone's just like, I can't wait until Saturday. I can't wait until Saturday. Like, it's going to be the best day ever. So the excitement for all the athletes that we have for football has been really fun this week.
I know you're telling us you're going to be hosting some recruits this weekend. Now, will y'all be able to go to, I'm guessing you will, go to actual game day? Like, are you planning on getting out there early and going to the actual show? Or how will that work?
We're meeting with recruits quite early on Saturday morning, but the recruits will be coming to Gamecock Park, so hopefully I will maybe get there a little bit earlier than the recruits so I can go enjoy that for a minute and then go and meet my recruit for this week.
If you want a good spot, you got to get there early because there will be people that are going to like camp out overnight.
Yeah, I plan on waking up like at 5 a.m. I'm not going to lie.
I'm loving
She's all
this.
in. I love it.
This.
That's
so
fantastic.
All in. Let's stay off the field here a little bit. We always like to let the fans know about you a little bit as a person. We already talked about the sweet tea, but what is your favorite meal? If you could have one food or one just total meal, what would that be?
Where you don't have to worry about whatever food they're telling you to eat. This is completely up to you.
Well, interesting fact, I can't eat red meat. So back in the day, I would say steak, but I've grown an allergy to it.
Oh.
Yeah, so quite unfortunate. 'Cause some days I just crave a steak or a cheeseburger. But my go-to food, it's really cliche, but I go to Kava a lot. I love Kava.
I literally just had kava on Sunday.
It's so good.
What do you get?
I get the kids meal because you get a piece of pita bread and pita chips, and it's the perfect portion.
So do you do the chicken?
Chicken with tomato and cucumbers, feta cheese, and tzatziki.
Sounds pretty good to me.
I mean, I feel like that's a good athlete meal too. Like it still tastes good, but you've got some balance in there. You got some carbs, you got some protein. Like it's not a completely over the top meal. I feel like it's not mac and cheese and.
No, it's really refreshing actually. I like Greek food a lot actually. Greek and Italian food.
Is there a go-to cheat meal?
Chicken parm.
Okay.
Ooh.
With pasta.
Okay. Yeah. I'm with you.
Have to take a nap after that one.
Yeah.
All right, what are our go-to questions, Tyler? All right, if you're not playing softball or hockey, what are you doing? What are you doing with your free time? You can't say working out or watching film. No sports.
Okay. I'm a big reality TV show junkie. Like I could sit there and watch different reality TV shows for the entire day.
What's your favorite?
Love Island currently.
Okay.
I just finished the other season, the newest season, so that was a big chunk of my summer.
You're just binging the heck
Real
out of it.
Housewives, like everything. Bravo specifically.
How many Real Housewives shows are there now? There's like 8 of them, right?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Did you ever watch Big Brother or Survivor growing up?
Big Brother was a show my mom and I would watch growing up.
I gotta admit, I've during the summer when there would be like not much else going on, Big Brother, it's a kind of an underrated watch.
Oh,
I feel like, for sure.
Survivor's still going. I thought it was been off for years. Saw a commercial the other day. I'm like, oh, this is still a thing? I guess so. So when we have like football players and stuff in, we ask them the question of like, if you had to craft like a starting five in basketball, who would that be? I want you to think about this during the break. I want you to craft a hockey team with your teammates. Think about who would you include on that. We'll do that to wrap up today's edition of the Gamecock Club Hour, presented by Krantz Heating and Cooling on your Wednesday here on The Game. Welcome back in. It is the Gamecock Club Hour presented by Grant's Heating and Cooling. Tyler Head, Wes Mitchell, Ari Rodi from Gamecock Softball hanging out with us. I posed you this question before we went to the break because we do this football. We have guys come in here and say, okay, make starting five for basketball. Who's amongst your teammates would it be since you're a hockey player as well? If you're crafting a hockey team, which of your teammates are going to be on the team with you?
My starting goalie would be Lexi Winters because she's already a catcher and she's got a little bit of chippiness to her. So you have to be
similarities between the two positions.
Yeah, and you have to be a little bit on edge to be a goalie, so it'd be perfect for Lexi. Defense, I would have myself and then Ella Chansey. Because if you've seen the Mighty Ducks, you have the Bash Brothers. That would be Ella and I playing defense together.
What a great movie.
And then for my center, I think I'd have Abby Knight. Because Abby Knight's just really gritty, and she'd just be going back and forth on the ice the whole time. And she'd get in there and get physical. Now my left winger, I'm thinking Natalie Heath.
Okay.
Nat's from Georgia. I don't think she's ever even watched hockey before, actually. But I could just see her being, loving ice hockey. She just loves it. She would get into it. And lastly, for my right winger, Emily Vinson. I would take Emily Vinson. She also is a big presence, so I think she would love it.
Now, out of all these teammates, how many do you think can actually ice skate?
None.
None.
Coach Ash actually in the past wanted me to teach everyone how to ice skate, but I said no because I don't want to be held responsible if anyone gets hurt.
Yeah, that's a tricky thing to figure out.
You have to sign a waiver to get on the ice. Can you go ice skating anywhere around here?
I know there's got to be some rink inside, some rink because the club hockey team. Club hockey team here is pretty good.
They're very good, I think.
They won the national championship last year.
Okay, maybe
Dave said there's one in Ballantine.
Yeah, maybe I'll make that happen here soon. I feel like that's a good point, though, you made about Lexi. Catcher and playing goalie, there probably is quite a bit of overlap there.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up catching, and so whenever I told everyone I played softball and ice hockey, they're like, and they knew I was a catcher, they're like, oh, are you the goalie? I'm like, absolutely not. Oh. I always tried. I think I tried goalie once when I was 5, and I was crying the entire time because I couldn't stand up with all the gear. And my dad said, I told you you wouldn't want to be a goalie, and I don't want to pay for all the gear.
Well, I mean, modern catching helmets are essentially goalie helmets.
Oh, yeah.
Much the same thing.
So how long have you played first base?
First base was the first position I played. So I played that from when I was 4 until I would say I was 8, and then I started catching. And then I caught until about 8th grade. And then we just had, schedules get really strenuous with all the travel and everything. So we'd have more than one catcher on the team. Then I started, when I wasn't catching, I'd be playing first base. And then I actually grew to love first base a lot more. It's a lot easier on the body. So ever since my 8th grade year is when I started focusing on first base.
First base is a really fun spot to play because you're in on every single play that happens. You're always moving.
Yeah, and it's a lot more intricate than people think. People think it's, just sit here and catch the ball. It's a lot more than that.
How good are you at picking it over there?
Pretty good. We're working on it to be better, but I'd like to say I have a solid foundation in picking.
I feel that is a skill. The people that can pick at a high level, it takes a lot of work, I feel like, to read. It looks easy when somebody does it perfectly, I feel like, but reading a hop and knowing sort of how to play it. Is this a long hop? Is this a short hop? Is it in between hop? That takes, hours, thousands of hours to sort of get down, I feel like.
Yeah, and then especially at first base, it's not just worrying about your pick, but worrying about the timing of striding towards the bag to make sure you're not stretching too early, because then if you stretch too early, you put yourself in a bad position or the hop's just going to eat you up. So timing, footwork, glove work, everything.
You ever tried the hidden ball trick at first?
I have.
Yeah, did it work?
It's worked a couple times in travel ball, but I have not yet completed it in college.
Have you tried it in college?
I tried it twice, I think, last year. Half the time the umpires don't pay attention, though, so that's what gets me, because half the time they're out, and then the umpire's off, and I'm I have the ball still.
That's frustrating.
Yeah.
I feel like we got to let's start alerting the first base umpire. Be like, hey, be on the lookout for this.
Well, we usually do, and we'll be like, hey, like we run this in travel ball. At least we used to be like, we like to run a lot of pickoff plays. Like just keep your heads up. Like the ball's gonna be moving a lot, and half the time they still wouldn't pay attention. It's like they're in their own little world.
All right. So before you get out of here, we got to get our listeners out to y'all's games this year. What can they expect from Gamecock softball? New era, first year with Coach Chastain. What can we expect from this team this year for coming out and watching in person and supporting Gamecock softball?
Yeah, I just think it's going to be a really energetic, electric environment. Electric is Coach Ash's favorite word to describe environments that we're in. But, I mean, we're going to have a really big, like, family fan base that's going to come. Like, I know from the girls that came with us from Charlotte, like, our families love to be there, love to tailgate before the games, and we're bringing everyone we can to the games. And I challenge Gamecock Nation to bring more students to the games. Because, I mean, it's a big advantage to go into a game knowing that everyone in the stands is rooting for you and just to pack out the stands. But, I mean, on the field-wise, like, we're going to be a really competitive, gritty team. Like, we're going to do whatever it takes to win, and we're going to have fun while doing it. So we're going to take care of business when we have to, but I like to say that the best teams have fun taking care of business.
And we had Coach Chastain here not long ago after she got hired, and you could see the excitement in her coming back to her alma mater. How does that resonate with y'all, knowing how excited she is to be back here and coaching again?
Yeah, I mean, this means the world for her. This was always her biggest dream, and we're just so happy that she's able to bring us along with her. But it also comes with a responsibility that we're not just playing to play. Like, we're going to play because the people who came before us in this program, and then the people that are going to be coming in after us. So we just have to take care of a legacy, and within that, we're going to instill a new culture of Gamecock softball that the people are really going to enjoy, and that's going to want to bring more people into the program and to coming to our games.
Last about 40 seconds here. You got a score prediction for Saturday?
I think it's going to be a low scoring because our defense has been on fire.
Yeah.
But no, just low scoring. That's all I can say.
Okay, I'll take that. Give me a rainy, muddy type of game. I'm cool with that. Ari, appreciate you hanging out with us, and certainly would love to have you back in here down the road as well.
Thank you for having me.
This has been the Gamecock Club Hour presented by Krantz Heating and Cooling. On your Wednesday, coming up next, Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs here on the game.
All right, guys, college football is rolling along. Time to upgrade the man cave at your house. Our friends at Integrated Media can handle that for you. Call them today, 803-948-8327, or head on over to integratedmediainc.com where you can get more information about their services, or go ahead and set something up for them to come out to your house. They've been at Chris Clark's home. They've been at my home. They can set up anything involving your smart home system, home theater, audiovisual, TV installations, or security and cameras as well. That could be something as simple as hanging a TV maybe that you want to take to the next level, or taking that man cave and going full on home theater system with a projector, surround sound. Again, anything involving audio and video at your home, they want to help you take it to the next level. That's integratedmediainc.com, or just give them a call, 803-948-8327.